Susan,
Hmm?
are you ready, darling? Are you ready to rock and roll? You've got to do the light.
Yeah.
I've seen the light. Here goes, Susan. Good evening and welcome. Chris Upton in the house with sexy Susie. Susie Two Shoes. Anyway, bloody hell. Karen Evans is in the house. Good evening, Karen. How are you? Adam Hudson. Bloody, what's the shooting season like, Adam? Tell us more. Simon Spruce is in the house. Thomas McNulty. We were only talking about the Mad Scotsman about half an hour ago. He's in the house. Frank Casey's in the house. Michael McLaughlin's in the house. Jeffrey Harroway's in the house. I was only speaking to him about half an hour ago. Anyway, no comments about me drinking tea. No comments at all about me drinking tea. Yeah, I did see it, Adam. And then he got hit by a what? Partridge. Simon Spruce, yep, he's in the house. Ben Dunham's in the house. Not Tables Carlos. Kerr Taylor. Nigel Moore is in the house. We spoke to Nigel earlier. Denver Skinner's in the house. Bollocks, it's whiskey in a cup. It's not. It's not. I'm on this health diet. I don't want no laughing. I'm on this elf diet. It's called a caveman diet. I'm not supposed to eat any carbs. Caveman diet. It's not fair, is it? It's not fair at all. Anyway, so we have 23 people in the house. Fire away at your questions. New Prime Minister, fire away with your questions about dog training. Come on, fire away. Anything you like. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Yep, I'll talk about my diet if you want to. Seafood and eat it. No, don't like seafood. Nothing's healthy for you these days, is it? Nothing. I'm drinking green tea. I can't even have milk in it. I'm going to be like Rocky. I'm going to start playing the music every time I come out in the field training. You know what the doctor says? Get a bike or go swimming. Anyway, that's enough of the tea. Eat raw, terrorist. Eat raw, caveman diet. What you do, you club your missus and take her in the bedroom and ride her all night. She fancies that idea, don't you, Sue? Kieran says, good evening, Sue. Sue's in the house. She's there, look. She's there. She's had a week off, everyone. Honestly, it's been hell. I've not been able to do normal things. Do you get that when you have a time out and the wife's with you and you can't get up to your normal nonsense that you normally get into? Anyway, back to normal. Bit of Chianti tonight. But only half a bottle of Chianti because Sue's already drunk it. See?
Only helping you out.
Cut back. See? Helping me out, she is. So, cheers, everybody. Grab your drinks. Andy Stead's in the house. Stick a whiskey in the tea. No, Andy, I'm not supposed to be having whiskey. Whiskey's not good for me. I can have red wine. I've got a list of stuff I can have. You should see it. You should see the stuff. Anyway, the good news is I've had my heart and they say my liver, kidneys, is equivalent to a baby. Brand new. See, I've done something right with my body. Rest of my body, that's it. It's over. Anyway, I wonder if somebody could tell me. Sort of, have we got a doctor in the house? What do you use your kidneys for? You got two of them. It's for purifying, if I'm right. Is that right? It purifies lots of things in your body, the blood, I think. Anyway, on that, you're not supposed to eat liver or kidneys. It's just awful. So they want me to have quality food. I like the delivery video on Patreon you put up the other day. Thank God someone's talking about dogs. I like the delivery on Patreon you put up the other day. Reminded me of Trigger. Very, very soft mouth. We're getting there very slowly. That is the problem when you've got these really soft mouth dogs. They have a tendency to want to drop it as they bring it in. Adam, it's not a strange thing. It happens quite a bit with a lot of dogs, and it does take time. And to be honest with you, forced retrieving is the last thing I do. It's just if you can't get there, then I step in and force retrieve. Simple as that. Like I said, my spaniel has a very soft mouth. Yeah, that's it. And that's the way it should be, shouldn't it? Your spaniel should have a soft mouth. You don't want that. You don't want a dog damaging game, do you? Some people wouldn't know what a soft mouth was. We have a notification from David Jones. You'll have to just bear with me. Oh, it's a video. We'll look at that later. So it's nice to hear from Andy Stead from Jersey. Peter Piper, good evening to you. How's your shooting season going, Adam, at the moment? Is it wet up there? Is it? You put up a video of the birds. They were flying well, weren't they? They were getting on, weren't they? Any questions tonight? If there's any questions, it's only 6 minutes and 42 seconds. We've had one question or one suggestion about dog training. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Do you think we've got a good prime minister? Do you think we're going places with this one, or do you think it's same old shit? I don't know if you liked the little bit I put up in Corleone Talk from Ron Hollis regarding trialing and whether it should same old shit. Yeah, exactly, Adam. That's what I was thinking. He was talking about trialing and corruption and bad judging and the power the KC have, and yet don't get involved with anything. They try and sit on the fence, and you don't get no clarity or honesty from them. I thought it was a good piece, actually. I read through it, and I thought it was a good piece. The only thing I totally disagree with, perhaps BASC would like to throw in its hat into the ring and make some worthwhile suggestions. I'm sorry, but I've got no time for those rich port drinking bastards. It's just another set of la-di-dars who actually think that they own the place. I've had dealings with them, and I can tell you that it's for themselves. We have people like BASC who sit on the fence. They don't want to offend by saying what they feel, what they generally feel. And I've got no time for people like that. And that's it, Adam. None of these organisations have the balls to stand up and tell the truth. So what happens is BASC run all the game fair stuff and all that sort of stuff, don't they? And they get involved with all that sort of stuff, the shooting side of it. And so they want all that. Well, they promote that. And they're supposed to be there for us, as in an organisation that I was a member of BASC for a number of years. But they sit on the fence because they want both sides of the coin. So at game fairs, they want to run the scurries. BASC run the scurries on a lot of the big game fairs because it's a massive money earner. And so if they are talking in an honest manner about dog training and about corrections and being how we should train dogs, like the Kennel Club are trying to tell us, that we shouldn't be using discipline, and they've now said we can say no to a dog, but we're moving forward, aren't we? No, we're not. And in that write-up, it actually states that about the Kennel Club committee, they're the ones that are so involved that they could do something, but they've got their fingers in their pockets, hands in their pockets, because they don't want to upset the status quo, because they will not be asked back in again if they rock the boat. The problem is you need honest, open people who say it the way it is, and that's what we need. It's all a load of crap. We have seen the bad press on RSPB and getting funny out. Bolton Castle shoot a better breeding program of NAS than theirs. Yeah, exactly. It's an absolute farce. So I'm not going to go right through it, but I thought it was an absolute fantastic piece that someone had the balls to actually write about it and talk about it. And I'd sit and talk to anybody about that sort of stuff, right, in an honest way, if it could help the sport, because I believe that people are being misled and turned over. It was a wonderful sport, the field trial situation, and yet it's got its flaws, and no one wants to talk about the flaws, and that's why it's got worse and worse and worse. And because no one's talked about it, with bully boy tactics, that if you stand up and say something publicly, you will get sent to oblivion. Where's that? A planet beyond, and you will never get anywhere if you stand up and say it the way it really is. Malcolm Austin says, "Hi Chris, I've been working on blind retrieves, and I've been doing it on laneways and up the side of ditches and fences lines. Seems to struggle in more open areas. Is this a matter of time and reps?" Good question, Malcolm. I get this quite a bit with people. Say you've got a field, and it's a 2-acre field, 3-acre field, whatever, 6-acre field, it doesn't matter, but you want something reasonably big. And I was talking to someone about this today. What I tend to do is I tend to teach the dog the scene retrieves in the same place. So I'll put the dog in a situation and walk it down a hedge line, and I tend to use the end of the field, not halfway up the field or the middle of the field. I keep the sort of hedge to my left-hand side, and then you'd have a bottom hedge in front of you, and I would take the retrieve down to the bottom hedge and into the side of the hedge and place the retrieve there. Then I would walk back up the hedge line, knowing that the bottom hedge boundary, the dog can't go any further, but I would only go about 30 feet, turn the dog round, send it. These are scene retrieves to begin with. I know you're talking about blinds, but I build it up. And so once I've got the dog going back with confidence for the scene retrieves, I then increase that distance. And if the dog comes off the line, I blow the stop whistle and I give the word back or get out. And I teach the dog that you will not get success unless you listen to me on the verbal cue. If the dog comes off the line, then I will stop the dog and teach the dog that you've got to listen to me and go back and not just run around the field like an headless chicken. Karen says mow a line in the field to start. Well, you can do, but I would use the hedge line to begin with and the bottom of the field all the time. Once you've got the dog running with confidence to the bottom of the field, you can start to increase it, because the dog's memory will run to the bottom of the field when it's had success. Success breeds success. Then you go on to your blinds in the same area, and you do your blinds in exactly the same area. And like Karen says, if the dog comes off the line, either correct him by stopping the whistle, walking up to him and pushing him back, or shorten the distance. Go back, it means you're moving forward too quick. So he's dead right. And that's the way I've done it for years and years, and there's a way better. But first I teach the dog the scene retrieves in exactly the same format. And then when you come to a blind, the dog will listen to you on a blind. It's as simple as that. And it's the easiest way to do it. And I've never found it difficult with a dog if you teach it in simple format. What people have a tendency to do, they have a tendency to drop the retrieve short in the field, and it will teach the dog to put its head down and start hunting. And you don't want that with a spaniel, because a spaniel is a hunting machine rather than a straight line dog. So I used to be able to compete with the Labradors the way I train with my spaniels, because of the way I trained. So what you're doing, you're teaching the dog to run the line and then put its head down at the bottom of the field, not put its head down and start hunting. A lot of dogs will start to drop their head short and start to hunt. So I hope that helps you. Kieran says he's got a video. He has a video that may help. There you go. He's got a video. He could stick it up. If he's, I don't know if you're in Corleone Talk or Patreon. Anyway, Steve Pace, I've been working on handling with Baz, and he's coming on great. We'll try to sort a video out. Lovely, Steve. It'll be great to see. Hi, Chris. I've been working on that. He's done that one. Denver. Chris started directional work with my younger one, the one in the video, doing one at a time, but instead of going straight to the left, he's coming back to me. Let's read that one again, Denver, because I'm a little bit slow. Chris started directional work, got that, with my younger one, the one in the video, doing one at a time, but instead of going straight to the left, he's coming back to me. Well, if you send me a video, Denver, I'll be able to help you. Really, I don't really know what you mean when you say he's. Perhaps someone else can help you with that, Denver, at the moment. First, see the first, and then gradually work. Oh, that's Karen's one. Sorry, it went up there. The one in the video, doing one at a time, but instead of going straight to the left, he's coming back to me. Well, it depends where you're positioning the dog and everything, Denver, and it all depends on how far you've advanced. If I'm teaching the dog a left and a right, it's dead simple again. I use the back edge, and I will put a dummy to the left or a dummy to the right, and I'll push the dog down the line. And I use the lines to teach them. If you do it in the field and the dog's not understanding what you want, it's going to come back to you. So if you send me a video, I can see what you're doing wrong and show you how to correct it. It's simple as that. Now, when I say sending me videos, I'm getting people sending me videos from all over the world. Right? I can't answer all of them. My Patreon customers come first. So people who are in the Patreon group will get videos and they'll get voiceovers, and I will come back and give them advice. But I can't give everybody advice. I get so many people asking for advice. I would be on the computer for the rest of my life. And I need to get on my bike, as the doctor says, and pedal. I'm looking for some fat bottom girls as Freddie, because that's the only time I've ever seen Freddie on a bike. Denver, I have some everyone's got videos. Denver, I have some videos on Patreon about starting directional work with Might Help You. Yes, he has. I've seen them. And they are excellent videos to watch, Denver. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. That's what they say. Peter Taylor. Good evening, Peter Taylor. Not on holiday. Wow. It must be a problem. Anyway, Peter, what do you think about this new Prime Minister we've got? She's gorgeous, isn't she? She's upset the French Prime Minister. She's upset that bloody wonderful Nicola Sturgeon, isn't she? Hey? Hey? She says it as she sees it, doesn't she? You can't do that these days. You've got to be diplomatic. She never even shook Richie Sunak's hand. And I heard someone say that the only reason that Richie Sunak didn't become Prime Minister, the Conservative Party wouldn't let a black person become Prime Minister. Why do they have to use the Meghan Markle card? Jesus Christ. It gets ridiculous, isn't it? Stop it. Give it to the person who does the best job. Thanks, Gary. I'll have a look, says Denver. How's your training bag, Gary? I saw it. If she upsets the French, then she must be a good one. Nigel, stop it, honestly. Honestly, our French are our neighbours. Anybody been out on the grouse yet? Where the frickin' hell are we going to find grouse around here, Karen? Honestly, I'd have to go all the way to Yorkshire. It's all right for you. Boris. Oh, is that Boris?
Yeah, well, Boris left his kettle at Tennessee and bought a new one because he told everybody to buy a new one, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he? I've seen that Boris went up to see the Queen in a plane, and then she went up in a freaking plane. Why couldn't they go together? Why couldn't they go together and say, I'll wait outside for 10 minutes, I'll have a cup of tea? Hey, what a waste of money, isn't it? One goes up in a plane, and then another one goes up in a plane. Don't mention the Germans. Oh, we don't want to upset the Germans. Plenty up here in the mighty north. Lucky old Karen, eh? Lucky old Karen. I'll tell you what, it's been so wet, hasn't it? As everyone's moaning about we can't use hoses. I don't need to get a hose out at the moment. My plants are growing like little weeds. You've got everything up north, Karen. That's the problem. You've got bunnies up north. You've got partridge up north. I mean, honestly, it's the best place to train. Down here in sunny Cornwall. Wet, sunny Cornwall. It gets less these days, doesn't it? We get 26 people in the house. I reckon they're on holiday. I thought Boris's speech was fantastic, you know. I mean, remember Theresa May crying like a bitch and then walking off crying that she'd been mullered. Boris got mullered, didn't he? I mean, not being funny, sorting all that shit out that he was having to sort out. I'd want to sit down and have a freaking drink, wouldn't you? I mean, okay, he lied about it. I would have gone, yep, I had a drink. What are you going to freaking do about it? We sat down, had a freaking drink. We worked our asses off. But no, lying about it is where he come unstuck. I accept the fact that, but actually, what he achieved, I think it was quite good personally. And I mean, his speeches are entertaining. I mean, did you see his speech? Says Peter, not many shoots of birds up here. I have only one shoot to go beating on this year. Yep, I've heard that so much, Peter. That's the thing, isn't it? And I was talking on the Corleone Talk. Was it Corleone Talk live on the other day, sir?
Mhm.
I was talking about bird flu because we got down here. We got bird flu, and it's come down. It's really bad. And I was saying about the pheasants and what could happen, and I was saying about people catching bird flu. And Sol said people can't catch bird flu. It doesn't pass from one species to another. And then tonight on the news, they're wrapping them up and having to throw their clothing away, and actually giving them stuff so it doesn't affect them. So I was quite surprised because I was thinking to myself, Adam might be able to give us some insight, but he obviously probably hasn't got any problems up there like we've got down in Cornwall. But obviously, we all know the birds around. Boris wasn't that bad. He just got caught leveling. But hey, the thing is, he was the fall guy for everyone because no one else was sacked, were they? Some of them got fined twice, didn't they, Sue?
Mm.
But their names never even come out. A lot of them who got caught partying, their names never even come out. But it's funny, isn't it? Hey, politics. Hey, you live by the sword, die by the sword. It's the way it is, isn't it? It's the way it is. I couldn't believe that Gove. That Gove was bullying Boris up like he was his best mate, and Boris said he was a traitor, and he was, wasn't he? He tried to throw Boris under the bus. Honestly, fickle politicians, eh? No backbone. And anyone crying that he broke the rules during COVID, we all did, because nobody knew the fucking rules. Stop it. It was some sketchy shit. I remember when it first come out, COVID, we were wiping all the freaking stuff down from the supermarket. We had gloves on, wiping it all down. Our food, putting storage. We had storage food in one cupboard in case we got locked down for freaking 6 months. Honestly, Fat Boy was not going to go hungry, right? And then guess what? It all changed, didn't it? It all changed. And I had loads of shit in the cupboard because I bought tins of this and tins of that. We still got some of the tins in there. You never go and eat it. Them Frey Bentos pies, remember them? Frey Bentos pies. I used to love them. I used to have them on the boat all the time. I used to put them in the oven on the boat when you're fishing or sailing. I used to love them Freddy Bentos pies. And now I eat a Freddy Bentos pie and I think, what a fucking load of shite that is. It's a bit like spam, innit? Some people love it, some people hate it. I was talking to good friends last week who buy lots of birds, told me, dealer, they don't wait for years, put the birds up 110%. Yeah, disgraceful, isn't it? The prices, everybody's trying to milk it. This is it. I don't think anyone could keep up the rule changes. But then, what have they said? You can get the COVID jab, it will protect you. Okay, they didn't say you wouldn't get it, but people have been having 3 COVID jabs and still getting it. So let's do a little bit of a survey. They're offering us all another COVID jab next week, aren't they, or the week after, or something like that? I think they're doing the old people now. So Sue's going to get it. Are you going to go for the extra jab? Is anybody going to go for another jab? Do you just love this stuff being thrown into you? Not had any and won't be, says Karen. Bloody hell, Karen. Bloody hell. The bird situation has been terrible. Biosecurity from big close flock farms are okay. It's us that wouldn't let them in. It would be really good, Adam, if you could give us a bit more information about the situation with. I mean, don't forget, we're in an area where they're saying that there's just birds are dying everywhere, and they've just listed it as really bad down here. See, Gary said that COVID nearly killed him. Look, see. Sol said to us, we need to catch it early before they run out of ventilators. I'm freaking glad I didn't end up on a ventilator on my back. I think I would have been the first one to go. One good thing about COVID was that I didn't have to kiss my auntie Erin, and she has a beard. Only Jules would say that, would it? Hey, it killed my father, says Denver. See that, everyone? See that, everyone? Sad. And like you say, now, I tell you what. I'll tell you what we will talk about. I don't mind. I don't mind if I don't know if Sue minds me talking about it. About your mum in the home. Can I talk about it or not?
Yeah.
Sue's mum, her dad died. How long did he die ago, Sue?
3.
3 years. And your mum is how old?
89.
Her mum is 89, and she's just moved into a care home. Just moved into a care home at 89 years old. They've her dad was self-employed, but they've been retired for ages, and they're getting on. But she's just gone into a care home, and do you know how much a care home? I'll just give you a rough idea. Do you know how much a care home per week is for an old person? Come on, have a guess. Have a guess, everyone. Have a guess for a care home, and it's okay care home, but it's not council. How much do you reckon? Some people for £1,500 a week. Some people £1,000 a week, £2,000 a week, £3,000 a week. Peter Piper, he's got some freaking money wherever he goes. So roughly how much?
850.
850 quid a week. 850 quid a week, and that's a cheap one. And that's not like top of the grade like some of you could go to. Look at them, look, three grand a week. Peter Piper, £3 a week. But not being funny, before you know it, they got their own little house, and they've worked themselves hard for that little house, and they've owned it. And that's got to be taken and sold to pay for the care home. Ridiculous when they have grafted all their lives paying into the system. Exactly. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that if she stays alive for 5 years, she hasn't got a house because of the value of the houses. You could spend, you lose your house within 5 years of being in a care home, couldn't you, Sue? Is that what we worked out roughly?
4.
4 years, Sue worked it out. 4 years. So you work all your life. I never knew it was this drastic that they changed the rules. That they got a lovely little house. It's immaculate, and she's done really well to manage to stay in there on her own. But for the government to say that you go into a home, you're better off not having nothing, aren't you? Aren't you better off doing nothing in life? Because I'm not being funny. If you're sort of what's the word? You're not rich and you're not poor, but you've worked hard for your life. They take it off you, don't they? My mum is 86 and a new kitchen fitted 10 grand and ordered it on my account. That's the way, Pete. That's the way she should do it. Order it on your account. Hey, well, Pete, you got no freaking way out of that, have you? Because the dog lives in a luxury freaking kitchen, don't they? They've got their own pad. Why can't your mother? Unfortunately, to avoid it, you need to sign over the house 7 years before you need the care. That's it, Michael, isn't it? At the end of the day, she's done really well to be able to be there for 3 years after her husband died and be pottering around, but she now needs that care. And we went there, and I was pleasantly surprised that it was quite a nice little place, and she seemed a little bit happier because just imagine being in your own place. You lost your partner, and you're there for 3 years sitting in a chair because you can't really move. And I just thought, isn't it horrible? And I brought it up because I'm not being funny. I was quite shocked at how you can work your arse off all your life to have a reasonable little life and not have a mortgage, and you pay your mortgage off and you do your house up, and then if you become ill, you can lose the lot, can't you? So imagine she lives for another 15 years. Blimey. She'd lose the house within 4 years or 3 years, whatever Sue said, because of the cost of it. I couldn't believe the cost of it. I mean, not being funny, you could employ a butler, couldn't you, to come in? And I think if anything like that happened to me, I'm going to employ two 25-year-old girls if I'm on my own. I mean, I'm telling you in front of Sue, two 25-year-old girls. at £10 an hour. And I'm going to have bed bath every day. And I'm going to be living in my own place, and they can come here and vacuum round me. Because I don't know what Sue's going to do. I don't know what Sue's going to do if anything happens. I mean, she might go out and look for a younger man. Because I'm useless now, honestly. I'm useless, honestly. I'm absolutely useless now. I can't do what I used to do, can I, Sue? Adam Muslim, 7 years is the time that government set up the depreciation of assets. If anything happens within that time, it's reversible. Reversible. Lucky them. What? The girls? I'll be paying them £10 an hour. I won't just give minimum wage. Or is it £10.50? Memories are what we leave behind. Yeah, they are, aren't they? And I think that's a good thing you said there, Kieran. Memories. People can't take away the memories. And if you treat people decent, you'll always be remembered as a decent person, won't you? And I think that's an important thing. And a couple of watches. No cash or house unless you win the lottery. My biggest worry is Snowflake ending up with your dog. Michael McLaughlin, Kieran, same reason tax man doesn't get inheritance tax, and then the government are liable for care home fees after that within 7 years, and they can't take it back. The problem is you've got to know all the rules, don't you, to be able to work within the rules. But you imagine these homes for old people charging, and the government have to pay if you've got no income or you've got no assets, right? If you can't pay it, simple as that, innit? You imagine what that's costing the country for people to be in there. You know, I think to myself, sometimes, I mean, I'm not knocking it. I went to school in a rough area, and my dad was a hard worker, and he built up the house, was quite special, quite nice, and then he lost it all gambling. But we went there, and we seen a different way of life because he was always a grafter. But we lived that high life, but then it dropped like crazy. But some of my mates lived in council houses, and they still live in council houses, and their mothers lived in their parents lived in council houses where they live, and now they're in council houses, happy as Larry. And I'm not saying materialistic things are important in a way. It makes life easier if you've got access money, doesn't it? Extra money. Look at people struggling with electric and all that. At the end of the day, you know, the government are going to step in and help some people, and yet why can't they help all people? Some people have worked their asses off to move forward in life. Why should they not have any help when people who've sat on their arse and done nothing? And I'm not saying just because people in the council house. I know plenty of people in council houses, and they are fantastic people. I'm not knocking council house people at all, but some of them people in council houses are happier than people with so much stuff. It's unbelievable, but they're so tight with it, and they don't want to give it away, and they try and audit. And we can't take it with us, can we? None of us can take it with us. It's about enjoying life, isn't it? It's about having fun and enjoying life. And I think if you can be happy with less, in a way, life's easier, isn't it? If you can be happy with less. Exactly, Chris. Why can't it help everyone? Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. I personally think that. Michael McLaughlin, working people get fucked, and that's the system. I honestly believe that's it. But it's one of them subjects, isn't it? If you talk about it, oh, he's not happy. No, I'm happy. I'm happy. They've just hit me for 5 years back pay for council tax because we lived in the yard. Well, they weren't interested when I tried to apply for planning permission. They said, fuck off, we're not going to give it you. So I built myself a granny flat, moved into the yard, didn't say nothing. Because it went over 5 years, they've not been able to do anything. They've had to accept it and give us change of usage. But the thing is, they're now trying to hit us for 5 years back pay on council tax. The bastards! I paid council tax on my house across the road. Why do I want to play the police twice? They've not been that good to me lately, have they? You try and get an appointment at the doctor's. Honestly, you try and get an ambulance to get to hospital. 3.5 hours, forget it. That's the problem, isn't it? Anyway, I'll have another drink to calm down. Doctor says, keep calm, keep calm. He said, keep drinking wine. That's the best doctor, isn't it, Sue?
Yeah.
Our friend doctor, he said, keep drinking wine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, Gary, you've done it, have you? You've done it. Where have you put the fish? You haven't put them in the freezer, have you? Gary, did you put them in the freezer? I'll tell you what, the price of fish at the moment, honestly, piece of fish and chips, £10. £10. £10.20, £10.65 for fish and chips down here. I don't know what you lot are paying. Oh, £11.65, Sue said, for one fish and chips. Not even freaking peas. Well, you lot, gravy, innit? You lot throw gravy on it up country. Sold them on eBay. It's a shame, Gary. It did look a good setup. Definitely, Peter. It was a lovely setup. I love that glass. Did the glass make them look bigger, Gary? Or were they really that big? I mean, not being funny, if you've got to heat that pond and you've got to feed things that big, Jesus Christ. Here we go. Alistair Brown, good dogs, hard training, happy days, bollocks to the government. That's what we got to do, innit? We got to get out there and do your own thing, don't you? Enjoy life, because life's too freaking short, innit? With all the shit they're trying to give us, so we can't train dogs like this, we can't do this, you can't say that. The world's gone freaking mad, innit? It's gone absolutely mad. Absolutely mad. And I was saying to someone the other day, I forget who I was talking to, and Michael McLaughlin actually said the other week, I was saying, I don't know why you lot all tune in on a Wednesday or a Sunday. Is it Wednesday or Sunday we do the live feeds? One for the group and one for in YouTube. And he said, what about mental health? How many people through the lockdown and that? And it made you think, and he's dead right. He's absolutely dead right. We've reached out. We have a bit of a chat. We have a bit of a banter. No one's really rude. No one's overly offensive. We talk about subjects that we want to talk about. And I think if you're not happy, frig them. Go away. Don't watch it. Simple as that. And isn't it funny how it's gone quiet with idiots coming in, giving us shit? And do you know why? Because you just dismiss them, don't we? We just block them. And at the end of the day, if you don't like what I say and you're not interested in listening, don't be here. It's as simple as that. But I'm fed up with sitting back and letting people. What about this? What about these idiots who don't want farmers having any cattle, any milk, and they're driving holes into their tires, onto the tires? I think it's absolutely disgusting. They need a good kicking, don't they? They need a good hammering, don't they? That's what they need. In our day, the police would come out and hammer you to the ground, not freaking take you off gently or dance with you and say you're a wonderful freaking set of people. The world's gone bloody mad. If you want to drink milk, drink freaking milk. People have been doing it for thousands of years, haven't they? I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Is that the vegan dairy protest? Yeah, absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? Absolutely. I'm all for protest. If you want to protest peacefully. Make a point. Not a problem. But being able to criminally damage, that's dangerous, isn't it? Drilling holes into lorry tires. Imagine that lorry went down the road with a big tank full of milk inside and had to swerve, and because of tires down and not knowing it, wiped out a family, wiped out people. It's absolutely disgraceful. They should throw the freaking book at them, shouldn't they? Simon Spruce says, tell me about it. I work for Muller's tanker driver, the tossers. They are, Simon, absolutely disgraceful. They want running through a combine harvest. I think that's brilliant, Karen. I'd watch that. I think what they should do is they should put them all into a football arena and have all the idiots over there who want to make a point, and anybody who wants to freaking teach them a lesson should be over there, and they should blow the whistle and they should all charge at each other and see who's at the end of it. Because attention seeking, gluing yourself to the floor because you don't like the fact that someone's drinking milk. See what Karen says. He says, them fish will pay for a kennel, Gary. Size of them beauties. Yeah. They held their AGM on a shooting estate. Most probably did, yeah. I can imagine that. That's how stupid it is, isn't it? That's how stupid it is. And they're criticising farmers for breeding cow and saying if farmers gave up their land, how much more land would be left for everybody else? Honestly, the world's gone freaking mad, isn't it?
But everything's got to be plant-based now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's got to be plant based. Yeah, I plant based them. Can I say that? Can you actually say that? We'll have them protesting on here in a minute, won't we? Anyway, it's just freaking. They actually did a shooting estate with tenant dairy farmers. Mm. And what do they say to you? Anybody comes onto the shoot and any aunties with hoods on, kick off. Please walk away from them. Don't get involved. Do you know what? It'd be a different kettle of fish if a few people put balaclavas on themselves and give them a good hiding, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Double standards. That's it. You stand off. Well, they trample over your livelihood and they want to ruin your life, and you've got to stand off and let them. It's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful. It is double standards, and that's the problem in it with the world. In it, I thought we were supposed to be a more tolerant society, and yet both candidates for prime minister said a woman is a woman, and a woman hasn't got a penis. I'm thinking, hang on. If anybody else said that, they'd be in trouble at the moment. It'd be classed as not sexist. What's the word? Homophobic? I don't freaking know. I'm not even going there. I bet the chairman of the Kennel Club is one of them. And then they said, not being funny. If you're a tenant farmer and you're having to pay rent, you ain't in the same situation as a farmer who's been passed down generation after generation of the fields and the ground, and you've built it up and you've worked hard and you've got a lovely lifestyle and you've got 3 farms, not 1 farm. There is some very, very wealthy farmers out there, and they've done well, haven't they? And they know how to work the system, and they know how to put, work it to their advantage. But there is some people out there struggling. You look at the price of electric. Peter Taylor, what is Eddie Izzard, a comedian? That's all I can say. Freaking hell, do you see him? He wanted to be an MP, didn't he? Hey, imagine him as Prime Minister. Wouldn't we go down well as Eddie Izzard as Prime Minister? Perhaps that's what we need to do. Eddie Izzard for Prime Minister. And then we get on with everybody in the world. Honestly, funny as hell. Imagine that. High heels, red high heels and lipstick coming freaking in. Honestly. What did you say? Yeah, come on, show us. No, that's it. You've got to buy dandelion milk. Oh, yeah, nut milk, innit? You can buy sheep milk now, can't you? We can all have sheep milk. It's better for you. So anyway, let me explain to you. Cup of tea. Cup of tea is good for you. But it's not the tea. It's the milk in the tea that makes it not good for you. So I blame the farmers. I'm fat. I'm blaming the farmers. All right? Now they tell me now I'll be better off with sheep's milk. Right? They say I'll be better off with sheep's milk. I'll be running around the field going, bah. I've never ever thought about, I want to milk that sheep over there in the corner. I've actually never thought about milking the cow. But I know, if they say, where does milk come from? It comes from cows. Right? Is that right? There's a joke, wasn't there? I was trying to remember the joke. Sorry, it was about something about milk from cows and that. And it says, no, it's water. You give cows water to get milk. So some people thought you give cows milk to get milk. Anyway, I don't know. My head just goes off in one direction sometimes. I think it is. I think it's the mad cow disease from the beef I've been getting from the farmers. Because I like beef. I don't want them to ban beef. I don't. They say fish is very good for you. Have you seen the shit that some people eat from the sea? They scrape it off the freaking walls. It's like freaking gooey shit with freaking green and yellow. And they go, oh, this is lovely. Eat this raw. Mussels. But honestly, I can't eat that stuff. Hang on, I've lost my old train of thought now with you lot. Karen's message has been retracted. How come you retracted his own message?
Wrote it twice.
All right, sorry, I don't know. Schools now teach the birds and the bees, the birds and the bee, the birds and the birds and the birds and the bees will be bees. Exactly. Let's stop and protest them buying dandelion milk. Yeah, I reckon we should, shouldn't we? Dandelion. Think about the dandelions, just sitting there waving in the wind. Honestly, it. Oh, Gary, you're getting me on it now. Eddie's a he, she. Stop it. A dick and he has one. Yeah, you got to say, you know. They've now said, isn't it? If you've got a dick, that's it. You're not going in the women's toilets. Before, no, I don't care. Today, I'm a woman. I'm going in the women's toilets. It's quite simple, isn't it? You got a dick, don't go in the women's toilets. Michael Lachlan, I would love to see an auntie on one of our rough shifts. It would end very quickly. There'd be no video evidence. Exactly. That's it, Michael McLaughlin. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous, and because they can get away with it, and they know that they get publicity. That's what they're doing, isn't it? Yes, by drilling holes into the tires of the milk lorries, we're getting publicity. I know people are going to say that's anarchy, but we need to stop it because we've said it nicely. Please don't eat milk. If you don't eat milk, drink milk, have milk on your sugar puffs. Don't freaking go there. But you can't even name them sugar puffs now, can you? We've had a change. We're not allowed to call them sugar puffs, are we? What are they called now, Sue?
No idea.
No idea, she says. No idea. Have you seen that idiot that identifies as broccoli? True story. That's another thing, Adam. Talk about. I'm a word of information tonight, aren't I? Broccoli. I've always chopped the broccoli and ate the freaking green bits. And the stem, I've always chopped it off and thrown it away. How old am I? 60 years old. They now tell me that's the best part of the freaking broccoli. I'll tell you, in the past, because you know they weigh the broccoli, and you get charged for the weight of the broccoli. It used to weigh, if you get broccoli and it's not in a packet in Tesco's, they used to put it on scales and they used to weigh it. I used to pick the end bit off, so I just had the green bits at the end. Come on, someone's going to tell me what the freaking sugar puffs. You can't say sugar puffs, Dave Jones. You can't say it. Not these days. No. Have you seen that idiot identified as broccoli? True story. So no, I haven't, Adam, but I've now found out that the end of the broccoli is really, really good for you. Far better than the green bit. I've been eating the green bit for years and throwing the other bit away, thinking that is wastage. That's the bit we should be eating. I tell you, I'm really into this diet shit at the moment. As you can see, I've lost so much weight. Anyway, what else we got here? Belgium, Mali, German Shepherd would surely see them off. Yeah, exactly. That's what they need, isn't it? That's what they need. They need a couple of dogs doing them. The schools now have to teach the birds. Oh, we've done that one way. Anyway, so is that it? Have everyone finished? Have I finished moaning tonight? It's just been one of the nights tonight. I've just been moaning about everything, haven't I? Anyway, red wine is good for you. Red wine's got stuff in it that is good for you. And but whiskey, I've been told, isn't so good. So I know Andy Stead loves whiskey. I love whiskey. A number of you will like whiskey. I'm going to cut back on the whiskey and drink more red wine. Anybody else got anything to talk about? Anything to moan about? Let's have a moaning session today. Anybody else got something to moan about? Oh, I tell you what. 9 police forces have been under investigation for not doing their job properly. Isn't it funny, isn't it, that the police aren't doing their job properly? Not solving crimes because they're too busy checking offensive words on the internet. The world's gone friggin' mad. There was a problem a few years back. Broccoli would be locked up in an institution. Not it needs understood. Now you've got me there, Michael. Can you explain that one to me, Sue? There is a problem a few years back. Broccoli would would be locked up in an institution and not needs understood.
Now it needs now it needs understood.
You think about it though. You think about it. That we look at science and we follow science, and you got to appreciate science that's been studied properly and not been manipulated because they're trying to prove a point or they're part of an organization that they just want to prove that what they think is right. If it's done properly and it's actually examined properly and you get the right honest answers, it's amazing how things have changed, isn't it? It's amazing how things have changed. Remember margarine? Remember when they used to say margarine is better for you than butter? Well, I'm sorry. They've now said that margarine is not good for you. It kills you in the long run. Is it saturated fat, Sue? I don't know. I'm not an expert on it, but salt, butter is better for you. But like you say, isn't it? Everything in moderation. They reckon the worst thing you can do is drink sodas, isn't it? Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. Every time you see Coca-Cola at Christmas, it's a fat frickin' Santa. Isn't that telling you enough? That frickin' bloke must drink Coca-Cola all the frickin' time. You see it, don't you? And they're trying to sell it and promote it to kids with Santa.
No, it's the mince pies he eats all Christmas Eve. And
See this mince pie? She believes in Santa. She believes. Steve Pace, I identify as a straight male who drinks beer and milk, eats steak and fish, swears a lot, and don't give a fuck. That's the way, Steve. Say it the way it is, mate. Say it the way it is, Steve. I want people on this group who say it the way it is. Michael McLaughlin, there is a problem a few years back. Oh, no, I've read that one. I'm not going there again, Michael. Have you been drinking, Michael? We've both tried to decipher that one, honestly. You and me are fucked, Steve Pace. Sorry? Stop it. Do you know, I had somebody from Germany. I won't tell you who it was from Germany, but they're on here. And that's what they were talking about to me. I'm not a sex guru. I'm not a marriage guidance counselor. If you're lonely, I can't give you what your wife can't give you or won't give you. Anyway, who's going there? What are we on about there? That's a personal, private message. He'll be laughing. I know he'll be laughing. He wants me to go up the back passage. I'm not going at the back passage. I think he meant his dog, but the way it come across, the way he was wording it, I was a little bit worried. I bet some of you are thinking, what the friggin' hell is he talking about? I bet some of you, unless you're up north, you don't even know what a back passage is, do you? That's the problem, isn't it? Some people wouldn't understand what a back passage is, would they, Karen? I once dated a girl with a twin, and people always ask me, how could I tell them apart? It was simple. Alison painted her nails. Hang on, it's just freaking going out of it. Bob had a beard. Jules, do you know what? I like wacky people. And Jules, you're right up there. I think some of the things you say are absolutely fantastic. There you go. The back passage is great for teaching blinds. I've said it many a time, Karen, on Facebook, and people have been offended. I've actually got blocked once for saying you want to try using the back passage. Yeah, your knee would have been all right if you'd eaten the right kind of broccoli. Yeah, you're right. This is the problem. I'm now becoming a master of the dietary system. But guess what? We'll have to see if it works. If it doesn't work, don't follow me. Don't follow me, whatever you do. Actually, some of you don't need to follow me, do you? Some of you could do with a freaking good meal. Jules, you're a nut. He's funny as hell. He's funny as hell. It makes me day with some of the comments he puts up. I think that's what it's about, isn't it? Denver, thank God you're freaking sorting the place out. The back passages are great for teaching pups to retrieve. Thing is, some of you'd have to use a torch, wouldn't you? The price of electric. Just imagine taking a torch up your back passage. Stop it, you lot. Stop it. Sue doesn't even know what we're talking about. Sue's lost. Absolutely lost. She's thinking, what the friggin' are they all talking about? Anyway, that's the rest of the wine gone now, everyone. So if anyone wants to report me for being alcoholic, because that's what they've said, he's on there on a Wednesday and he drinks every night. No, I don't drink wine every night. I used to drink whiskey on a weekend, and sometimes on a Wednesday, and sometimes on a Sunday. Oh, Sunday is a weekend. All right there, as long as it's clean. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. As a northerner, I used to scrub the back passage as a kid on a regular basis because dirty bastards walking up the road would come as they're coming back from the pub and piss up your back passage. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? It's just getting worse. Stop it. No road too muddy for my little buddy. Honestly, you're going to get us. Honestly, we're going to get banned. We're going to get banned. We're going to get blocked at the moment because they're not going to understand what we're talking about. You're going to get somebody in Sweden going, "Oh no, this is really, really wrong. You can't talk about this sort of stuff." Anyway, on that note, do you know what? Talking about Michael McLaughlin, talking about the cold and people moaning that the people are dying because of the cold. It ain't freaking cold at the moment. Who the frig is freezing at the moment? Do you remember as a kid having to go out to the back toilet, not through the back passage? No, the back passage used to be at the side of the house. You used to go out the back to the outside toilet, didn't you? And you used to think yourself lucky if someone had been out there 10 minutes before you because the seat was warm. Remember how cold it was out there? Honestly, we've become a load of softies, haven't we? Moaning bloody softies, haven't we? Who had an outside bog? Come on. I bet half you ain't this age, are you? This is the problem, isn't it? Who had an outside bog had a big long chain? And you know, in them days, it was unbelievable, wasn't it? It was unbelievable. It was it hardened you up, didn't it? You used to have the newspaper squares to wipe your ass. Yeah, you definitely, unless you're from Wales, and then you used to use sheep's wool, didn't you? David, he's from Wales. He's a bastard at Upton, isn't he? Yeah. Every time the wife mentions putting on the heat, I stop speaking today. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point, isn't it? But aren't we becoming a bit soft if you're having to put the heat on at the moment? Honestly, you'd put an extra jumper on, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but everybody knows they wear t-shirts all year round, don't they? You know, there's gone are the days where you wrap up in winter.
But the difference is, don't forget, I'm living a life of luxury, aren't I? Down in sunny Cornwall, if we went -5, you know, it'd be flashed up on the freaking news. -5 in Cornwall. Up north, it's colder, isn't it? The further up north, it's even colder again, isn't it? But down here, I've never been in a situation I thought I'm going to die because it's that cold. And at the end of the day, you could put. I mean, what about people sleeping on the streets under newspaper, under cardboard? I mean, let's get real. We're going a bit silly, aren't we? She's just come in. She's just given us some ideas of how to get the price of the electric down, and I think that's a good thing, isn't it? But at the end of the day, let's get real. Anybody who's had to turn the heating on at the moment, you're pussies, aren't they? Honestly, they are, aren't they? They're just pussies. Anybody, you know, put some freaking weight on. Get fat. Hibernate like a freaking bear. Put yourself under the covers. Honestly, I'm on a roll tonight, aren't I? I'm not my normal self, am I, for some reason? With the gas and electric risers, there'll be a baby boom. There will be shagging each other to keep warm. You can't get freaking pregnant if you haven't got a dick. My father used to say he had hit his. Sorry, Denver. Hang on. My father used to say had to hit his socks together because frozen stiff from being on the line. Yeah, I remember it. When I was a kid, it was definitely colder. Larry Crone's in the house. All right, Larry. Yeah, so at the end of the day, we're all becoming pussies, aren't we? What the freaking hell can't you put an extra jumper on if it gets cold? I mean, I mean, why are we pampering to these freaking idiots? You're living on the dole, you're sitting on the settee, and you want pampering. And now you're screaming because you can't afford the electric and test the government help you out. We're all in the same freaking boat. But I don't freaking cry about having to work. I get out there and freaking earn a living.
We keep warm.
We keep warm by keep freaking moving instead of sitting on the freaking watching Love Island. Honestly, get out and freaking walk around and freaking look for some game with your gun. Oh, you can't do that because you want it. The disease. The disease is pussification. You're dead right, Larry. You're dead right. We're just having a moan tonight, Larry. We're having a real moan about all the freaking things that are going wrong in this world. The PC brigade. They're in this country, Larry. They're drilling holes in lorry tires because of the dairy milk, saying that we're abusing animals by having dairy milk. The world's gone freaking mad. I mean, what about buffaloes, for fuck's sake? Buffalo mozzarella. I mean, look at all the buffaloes giving up milk on a regular basis. Fucking some of them believe me. Some of them fucking believe me. Insulation, central heating, double glazing, windows. They don't know what they're born with today. Exactly. I used to live in the attic, right? That's how poor we were. I used to live in the attic, and there was an attic door that took you into the roof space, and it used to rattle non-stop when it was windy. And the noise that used to come through the freaking door, when I was a kid, I used to think there was someone coming through the roof at me. You grew up with it, didn't you? You manned up, didn't you? You stopped being a big freaking baby and got on with life. And it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous. You put a freaking coat on. Have you seen kids these days? They go to school without coats on, don't they? Hey, my mother used to say, "Wrap up. You're going to school. Get your coat on. You'll catch a death." It must have been colder in them days. You can't catch a death these days down in sunny Cornwall. Honestly, I remember the days. I remember. It's my age, see? Toughens you up. Nets frozen to the inside of the windows.
Yeah.
And that was the summer. Yeah. Condensation. What condensation? There was too many freaking holes in the freaking house, weren't there? Hey? Some windows you couldn't even freaking close. Now it's double glaze this, double glaze that. Oh, we can't breathe. We're too cold. We're too hot. We've not got water. It's rained non-freaking stop since they put the hose pipe ban on. Non-freaking stop. Anyway, I bet you're all getting pissed off with me moaning it, yeah. Tell you, I shouldn't be drinking freaking green tea, should I? I should be on the wine. I would have been so much more relaxed if I'd been on the wine all night. I'm sorry tonight, everyone, for just getting on the roll. Just getting on the roll and saying the way it is. I think it's disgraceful. In the winter, we had thick ice on the inside of the window. Only eating was a small coal fire in the back room. I explained this. On the live feed, right, everyone? I explained this on the live feed. I never had one bit of sympathy. When I was a kid, we were that poor. We didn't have socks. And some of my mates had push bikes. And we couldn't afford a push bike because I was that poor. So I had a hoop and stick. And we used to go down to chip shop, and I used to get those. Instead of I couldn't afford the fish, I used to get the scratchings, and they used to put the scratchings on top of the chips for you when they look like an orphan. I used to say, "Excuse me, have you got any scratchings, please?" And they used to give you some scratchings on top of your chips. I used to think it was in heaven. And then one day I come out to the chip shop, and I went there with my mate on his bike, and they'd not nicked his bike; they'd nicked me freaking hoop and stick. And I sat on the pavement crying my eyes out. And the policeman come along. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I can't get home." He says, "Why not?" I said, "Someone's nicked me hoop and stick." That's exactly the same reaction I got from the rest of them last week. Absolutely nothing. No sympathy. No sympathy for a 9-year-old not being able to get home because of his hoop and stick's been nicked. I sometimes think I just waste my time on here. I really do. David, you're dead right. I think we had tumbleweed Steve Pace. We had that last week, didn't we, you bastards? Honestly. Really good. Anyway, on that note, good night all. And let's leave it at that, shall we? I'll tell you what I do listen to sometimes. I don't know if you do. Do you ever listen to a comedian? What's his name again? Who used to talk about Chalky? Jim Davidson. Not Jim Davison. Yeah, that was Jim Davison. I'm not talking about Jim Davison. Who am I talking about? Do you know what? My brain is getting worse. It's getting worse. Honestly, I think Alzheimer's. I think that's what's happening. Alzheimer's. Who was I thinking? Who was I talking about? I don't know. It's having enough anyway. So yeah, you go. Anyway, bollocks you all. I hope we've answered some questions. I hope we've sorted the world out. Who was it again? It's doing me head in now. I'm gonna. Oh no, it was Who did The Office? Who did The Office? Do you ever watch? Do you ever watch him on YouTube? Come on, who did The Office? Comedian. Won a lot of BAFTAs. Come on, Ricky Gervais. That's it, Ricky Gervais. Do you ever hear Ricky Gervais live feed? Do you ever hear it, anybody? You want to listen to it? I tell you what, he's a better actor than he is a comedian, because I find it hard, because when you come on here and no one's talking to you, it's great when you're having a chat with a sit down with Larry, or you're having a chat with somebody else about dogs, and we're talking banter about dogs and that. It's great. But when you come on and you just got to chat, I don't know how Larry does it. He does it so much, doesn't he? He's always on there, isn't he? Me, I'm thinking to myself, what the freaking hell are going to talk about this week? And yet, I watched Ricky Greaves. You got me now. What? Ricky Gervais, that's it. Ricky Gervais. And I think myself, I don't find you as funny as when you've written a script. And he's a genius, isn't he? He's a great comedian. He's brilliant at what he does. And he's done some brilliant stuff. But I don't think he's quite as funny listening to him. But it's funny when you sit there and you haven't got a script in it, and you have to just give it and sit there and say stuff in it, and then think, did it go well tonight? Didn't it go well? Am I wasting people's time? But you seem to come back, don't you? You seem to come back. Some of you got nothing better to do, have you, really? Anyway, on that note, Sue says, good night, take care, stay safe. Yeah, you're right, Larry. You're dead right. You're dead right. I actually met one who used to be in what's those kids that used to be in the Young Ones? What was his name, Sue, who died? In the Young Ones. Come on, everyone. Who was the guy in the Young Ones who died? Who used to be the punk in the Young Ones? Really, really funny it was in the day. I told you I'm freaking losing it. Rick Mail, that's it. Dave Jones. I was in Plymouth on the Barbican, and Rick Mail came in years and years ago and asked for a packet of fags, and I said something quite funny to him, and he went, "Oh, funny," and walked away, freaking absolutely pissed off because I freaking made everyone laugh in the shop because of the Young Ones. I said something that someone said, and it's funny, isn't it? Like Larry says, a lot of actors actually suck as stand-up. They're not as fast at one-liners as coming out as some people. Some people just seem to have the gift of the gab, don't they? That's it, Rick Mail. Hey, what's it? Got to have a script in front of her. Anyway, I've enjoyed it tonight because we've talked about different subjects, and I've cleared the air with so many different things and so many political problems. And before we go, is Larry still in the house, or has he left? Is Larry still in the house? I wonder if you could answer a question for me before we go. He may have left. I wouldn't blame you. He's left the audience. Oh, he's still here. Larry, we've got a new Prime Minister. She's a woman. She slagged off the French. She slagged off the Scottish. And she says she got no time for the USA. Right? Now, the thing is, Larry, would you rather see Trump back or Biden? What would you rather have, Larry? I don't want to put you under pressure. I don't want to put you under pressure. Yeah, Bob Mungas was a clever stand-up until he lost his freaking joke book. So come on, Larry. All the people in America, how come we've only got a choice of two? I agree, Larry. I agree, because it was definitely entertaining. It was definitely entertaining. Anyway, on that note, good night all, and thanks for tuning in, and catch you all later. Cheers. Take it easy.